after they become very famous, the drink, and really spread very fast, nobody call wine coffee, and the coffee is just for the coffee drink, what we drink it now.
Right.
And that's why people, when they read history, they read some poems and some documented history, there are name of coffee before 1400. Yeah, but it was for the wine, not for the coffee drink.
Right.
Okay.
So
This is
this
very
word,
important.
sorry, so
Yeah.
if I understand it correctly, this word, qahwa, or coffee, was assigned to wine, and then they stopped calling wine coffee when they wanted to
Yeah.
differentiate it. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 4 of our 5-part series with Mohammad Almasalmeh. And Mohammad, we are talking about the history of coffee. And in this episode, which I'm very excited about, we're talking about how coffee was first prepared and consumed. Now, for those of you who haven't spent time in the Middle East, one really fun thing when you go to the United Arab Emirates is you take a look at the coins, and they have on them what we call a dalla, and that is a vessel for holding brewed coffee. So if something is on the money or the currency of a country, you know that this is something that's deeply steeped in the history of the culture. And coffee is very much a part of the origin story of a lot of the Middle East. It is deeply ingrained in our hospitality. So, Mohammed, tell us how coffee was first prepared and consumed.
Yeah. If we can start from Yemen, when the Ali bin Umar Shadi bring the coffee and prepare it for his followers and for his guests, we can read from the history, there are either they make it from the cascara, from the qashar of coffee, and they boiling with the water, or boiling the dried coffee beans, the whole dried coffee beans with the beans dried, boil it with the water, and drink the drink. Or they take the beans and they really roasted, but with the frying pan, and they add sometimes like oil, sesame oil, and they cook it, and they eat it. Either they eating the coffee beans itself, or they eat the roasted coffee bean, or they ate the whole fruit, and same as you did in Hawaii, or they boiling the drink. All these type of preparing the coffee was evolved with the coffee. But the most famous things, the coffee, because when you have like a 20, 30, 40 people sitting around you, to make a drink to give each of one. And the most famous one was they brewed the coffee. They roasted the coffee, then they put it on the fire and they boil the coffee. After they grind it or they smash it, and then they add some of the from this time they add from the history they add like cardamom to it, or sometimes they add cloves. Or sometimes they add
saffron?
like mastica.
Mastic?
Saffron later on.
Okay.
And yeah, some of them they write that if they are really wealthy enough, they add sugar or honey.
Because it was expensive.
Even from this time. Yeah, and there are some documented history from Yemen, even from other people, like about 1600 people, they add milk to the coffee as well.
Wow.
This is Al-Muzajjad, they call his name Al-Muzajjad. He was in the get El Dillery. I can't drink the coffee alone. They add for him a coffee with the milk because he can't eat, and he get like L, and end of the day they add milk to his coffee, and they drink coffee with the milk as well. And
wow,
when the coffee spread in Mecca, the first documented official letter sent from the Mecca to Cairo, was the capital Cairo. They're written, and this explain. There are a group of people sitting and drink coffee by the sip it from the cup of coffee, and they drink it like wine. Okay, and I forgot to tell you one thing. The coffee name as a coffee, when you call قهوة in لغة عربية, when you say قهوة,
in Arabic,
the قهوة is one name of the name of wine. the wine in Arabic culture before they discovered the coffee. One of his name is wine. One of the wine name is qahwa in Arabic. Then,
Wow.
when they discovered the coffee, to differentiate it from the wine, they saw al-qahwa al-qishriya, coffee made from the cascara, or al-qahwa al-bunniya, that means coffee roasted and make it from the coffee beans. And
Folks, our first on-demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant, is now available for you to learn at your own pace for just €50, and it comes with a certificate upon completion. Go to mapitforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for more details. Support this podcast by supporting our sponsors.
After they become very famous, the drink, and really spread very fast, nobody call wine coffee, and the coffee just for the coffee drink, what we drink it now.
Right.
And that's why people, when they read history, they read some poems and some documented history, there are name of coffee before 1400. Yeah, but it was for the wine, not for the coffee
Right.
drink. Okay.
So this word, sorry, so
Yeah.
if I understand it correctly, this word, qahwa, or coffee, was assigned to wine, and then they stopped calling wine coffee when they wanted to differentiate it and separate out.
When they start use it for the coffee, they don't use it as qahwa separately. It's qahwa qashriya or qahwa al-bunniya to differentiate from the coffee wine. And why Arabic call coffee is the wine is coffee, because when you drink the wine, they call qahwa تقهي شاربها عن الطعام. Sorry to speak in Arabic. That means تذهب بشهوته. That means when you drink the coffee, it will prevent you from eating, or it will not give you the appetite to eat. Even the wine as well. If you drink wine, you will not have appetite to eat. Then the coffee will prevent you from eating. That's why they give the name from here. And when the Dutch take the coffee, they give her name from the Turk, because the Turk was use kahwa,
instead of
Qahwa, kahwa, but in Turkey there are no qahwa, they use V sound. The Dutch, they give it ka-e. When they take it from Dutch to English, they make it coffee, Coffee. And the root of the coffee name is from qahwa Arabic. And this is even the guy who put the Oxford or Cambridge dictionary. When they say the coffee, the root of the coffee is from qahwa, from Arabic.
From the Arabic word. I have a question for you. So there is a lot of, like, you hear these stories about how when coffee was being drunk in Mecca, how they didn't know whether it was going to be haram or halal. They didn't know if it was going to be permitted or if it was something that was criminal or against, right? How did they determine the difference? How did they determine that? Because they thought, if I have it correct, didn't they think that coffee may have been something that was making people drunk the same way that wine and alcohol was making people drunk? Is that right? Have I got it correct?
Yes, there are a lot of argument, because when the first document they're written, they describe it as the people who drink it will become drunk. But let me tell you one thing. From 1400 until 1511, when they write this document, the coffee consumed in Yemen and even in Cairo, even in all the area around
Peninsula?
all the Arabian Peninsula, because it was very famous. Everybody drank it. Nobody got drunk. But the way they serve the coffee, it's same as they serve the wine. And that's why they call this is like wine, okay? And they got confused. They got confused. Is the coffee itself make you drunk, or the way you drink the coffee, you like it the way they serve the wine? And then some of the people, they say, because it's like served like wine, we call it haram. Some of people, they say because when you drink it as a drunk, but this is really very silly, because they test it and they try it and nobody got drunk. They got alert, not a drunk.
So it was a stimulant, but it wasn't it wasn't forbidden. So how did they decide that this was okay? What happened?
To be honest, when they sent the document to Cairo and they asked should be prevented because this is the holy capital of the Muslims and it's not good to have people gathering together and drink such of this drink. And at the time was François Al-Ghouri, who's the Sultan, the big Sultan, and was the coffee already people of drinking Cairo and Al-Azhar. A lot of Yemeni come from Yemen to study in Al-Azhar and they drink coffee. And when they read the letter come from Mecca, I think the letter from Mecca was really exaggerated to explain the coffee as because as a wine, like a wine, or it's the people who drink it got drinking or drunk. Then they make like a congress and they try to discuss is it haram or halal. They said the coffee itself is halal. The way if you serve it like al-kuhul, it will become the way you serve is haram, not allowed.
Right.
Even if you serve water like al-kuhul, the water will become not halal to drink it because
So just for anyone who's listening, haram means illegal, halal means legal or accepted. So this is a big thing in the Middle East. It's you decide if something is haram or forbidden, or it's halal, which means that it's acceptable. And so basically, if I understand what you're saying, is that the way it was served, whether it's water or it's coffee or it's alcohol, the vessel that it's served in was haram, correct?
Yes.
And not the drink itself.
Yeah. If you serve water, you serve it like alcohol. That means it will become haram because you make like
right. That was the justification. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it, folks. In the next episode, we're gonna wrap up the series with talking about the coffee shop. So we've talked about coffee as a plant. We've talked about coffee as a beverage. We've talked about how it's evolved. We've talked about how it's prepared and how that happened. Our final part for the history is the coffee shop. Where did the coffee shop come from and how did it evolve over time? So join us for the final episode of this series. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.